Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch and we're here for Metagame Monday 2.0. That's right, if you guys didn't see, earlier today we discussed some of the changes from the recent OLT ladder cycles and the bans of McGearn and Cinderace, so definitely check out that video. That's right, it was posted earlier today, and it was Metagame Monday 1.0. I felt bad they didn't get up many videos over the weekend, and because of that, I knew that 2 Metagame Mondays was the solution. Unfortunately, it's going to be a pretty busy week for me, but I definitely wanted to get this video out on top of the initial one. And we're going to be discussing Rillaboom in SSOU. Unfortunately, it's just a single Pokemon, so this might not be the longest Metagame Monday video, but it's a very relevant Pokemon nonetheless, so let's discuss it. Rillaboom got Grassy Search, an ability that implies that it sets up Grassy Terrain upon entry, unless it's facing something like Neutralizing Gas Wheezing, in which case, well, that'll negate it, but that aside, unless another terrain is set, then for the 4 or 5 turns, Grassy Terrain is going to be up. What does that do? It boosts Rillaboom's grass moves as well as the grass moves of grounded opponents. It reduces the damage of Earthquake, it halves it in particular, and it gives grounded Pokemon 6.25% recovery, the same as leftovers. So let's say a grounded Pokemon has leftovers, or poison grounded Pokemon has Black Sludge, it should be getting double that amount. Or it'll negate burn, sand, hail damage, whatever it might be. All of these are very relevant effects of Grassy Terrain that help change the way the metagame is played, specifically when Rillaboom is used or is being faced. Because of that, let's dive in to how Rillaboom really rose to prominence in the SSU metagame. Upon release, it was seen as an okay option, but it never was really top tier. For the first couple of weeks, in fact, it was seen as more of an A- or B+ type Pokemon in OU. And for those of you that don't know viability ranking lingo, maybe top 20, maybe even top 25, but not necessarily one of the top dogs in the metagame. However, with more time, Rillaboom has quickly rose to prominence. It's become one of, in my opinion, the top 7 to 10 Pokemon in SSU. Now it is an A+ Pokemon, which is basically the second tier. It's not quite, suspect or ban-worthy or one of the staples of any given archetype, barring Hyper Offense, which is more of a fringe archetype, but quite on the contrary, it's a very good Pokemon that can fit on most types of teams barring Stall and offers a ton of merit, both offensively and, honestly, in an indirect fashion defensively as well. Because of that, Rillaboom is great. Rillaboom has so much to do, so let's go through the things that it does in particular, the sets that it uses. There are 3 sets that you're going to be seeing, the most common of which is a Choice Band set. I want to note first off that it can run Superpower over Knockoff. Knockoff is good to chip things like Corviknight, knock off heavy duty boots from Pokemon like Mandibuzz and Volcarona as well. But what is really needed on this is Grassy Glide, Woodhammer, and U-Turn. Woodhammer makes it an absolute monster. If you're not resisting grass, which admittedly a lot of things do, you're going to be taking big damage. For example, even a Fizzly defensive Toxapex is taking north of 75%, whereas things like Clefable can potentially get killed in one shot. And of course, walls like Hippowdon and Slowbro are going to be dying in one. Due to it being super effective, it's going to easily kill it in one. And also, it makes Grassy Glide an amazing revenge killing option. You're able to one-shot things like Excadrill and Zeraora potentially. And on top of that, you're doing great damage to other offensive Pokemon, such as both Urshifu, especially Rapid Strike, and easily one-shotting Crawdaunt as well. U-Turn also is a very great option, as it does great damage to Pokemon like Tangrowth, and it's able to out-damage Regenerator from Amoonguss when paired with Stealth Rock or Burn, whatever it might be. While also doing a ton to opposing Rillaboom and helping you pivot against common checks and counters such as Ferrothorn, Amoonguss, Corviknight, Skarmory, etc. in order to get in a more suitable offensive option. So yeah, all in all, it's very strong, it's very quick. You can even run a Jolly Nature, as a lot of people are running Adamant Rillaboom right now, and also you outrun things like Urshifu, which tend to run Adamant more than 80% of the time nowadays, and other things as well, for example base 80s like Mamoswine, Gyarados, and Chandelure if they run plus speed ever. There are a couple other things. Some Rotom Heater in that range if they don't run max plus speed. You tie Modest Kyurem, I believe. Or maybe it's you tie Modest Tedrig and you outrun Modest Kyurem. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep. And so on and so forth. It really depends though. I personally believe Adamant should be used probably 75 to 80% of the time, but Jolly definitely has some merit if you don't mind the rolls against Zero or an extra from full being solidified and whatnot. But yeah, in addition to that, there's also 2 other sets it runs, both use the move Swords Dance, which doubles its attack upon usage, and then it makes Grassy Glide amazingly strong. For example, after Stealth Rock, a +2 Grassy Glide from Life Orb Rillaboom is able to kill something like Dragapult, which is crazy because you resist it and has a priority move, but at +2 with Life Orb and Grassy Terrain, it's doing a ton of damage. In addition, a +2 superpower, or a +4 superpower if you're fortunate enough, can really demolish checks and counters that normally would handle Choice Band easily, such as Corviknight, Skarmory, even potentially Tangrowth. And in addition to that, it's going to wallop Ferrothorn as well as hits it super effectively. And last but not least, you can use Knockoff, Drain Punch, U-Turn, or even Stomping Tantrum to get the kill on Toxics +2 or Woodhammer. And those options are all, great. Knockoff personally is my favorite just because it gives you incremental progress. It's able to force some use out of Rillaboom in case it's facing some things at Wallet. But regardless of that, you can really do no wrong in that fourth slot in my eyes. On top of that, there are Pokemon that you want to hit that you can't quite do as well against, like Amoonguss and aforementioned Tangrowth. And running Grassy Seed with Acrobatics fulfills that. It gives you +1 defense, which helps you lift things like Acrobatics from Hawlucha, or even weaker, super effective physical attacks as well. Fortunately, there's no Pyro Ball in this metagame, but U-turns and so on and so forth. I really am blanking as to other things that you might be tanking. But the point is, be it U-turn from opposing Rillaboom, that's Choice Banded, or Acrobat from Hawlucha, or whatever it might be, you're able to tank a lot of things with that +1 defense, or even turning 2 Akils into 3 Akils, or 3 Akils into 4 Akils. Use it in terms of setup, Acrobatics to grass types, or just great neutral hits. And honestly, from there, Drain Punch helps against steel types. You can run Knockoff there as well. And Grassy Glide does what Grassy Glide does. It hits like a truck for a priority move, and it's the stab move of choice. So, yeah, I'd say all three of these sets are great. Personally, I'd rank Choice Band first, but these two Swords Dance sets are great. Now, let me ask you guys, what do you think you're getting out of Rillaboom? Well, here's the answer to that question. There are a certain pool of Pokemon that it's able to revenge kill. Or, you know what, actually, let's go to offensive victims first. Yeah, there's a certain pool of Pokemon that's able to revenge kill. I call them offensive victims here. Now, these Pokemon are Zeraora, Excadrill, Crawdon, Alakazam, Urshifu Rapid, but also kind of regular Urshifu, Azumarill, and honestly, any other offensive Pokemon as well that's not like 4 times resistant like Volcarona at the Grassy Glide. Even things like Dragapult or Hydreigon are going to be taking north of 30%, if not even more, from Grassy Glide, especially if it's boosted, so that's of note. But look at this. I mean, Zeraora, it's being one-shotted by Choice Band Grassy Glide. Same with Drill, same with Crawdon, same with Alakazam, same with Urshifu Rapid, same with... All of these are dying to one hit from priority, and it hits 3 of them neutrally, not even super effectively. Like, you know how crazy that is? It's a priority move. And that's crazy. It makes the fairly mediocre speed stat of Rillaboom into an afterthought. And that's crazy. Grassy Glide Rillaboom is such a largely anti-offensive option that it makes hyper-offensive teams match against other hyper-offensive teams that much better. It's such an amazing utility that it's almost impossible to pass up on more offensive builds. And that's what makes Rillaboom as good as it is, especially in this metagame, which is evolving into hyper-offense and stall, being used far and far more often than the status quo bounce. And I find that just fascinating. I'm not going to go through all these matchups, but you're able to stomach any hit from Zeraora or Excadrill. If you don't switch into Knockoff from Crawdon, you're great. You live any hit from Alakazam, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Close Combat can demolish you, but otherwise it's not doing a ton. And last but not least, Azumarill can't beat you with the Blood Drum set. You could live a Play Rough, and if it Blood Drums in your face, it's just dying to Grassy Glide. So it's just amazing what it can keep in check just through being there and having Grassy Glide. However, there are also some partners to Rillaboom that I also want to discuss here. The premier what am I saying? Oh my goodness. Not the premier pal? I don't know what I was trying to say. Okay. Slow down. Oh boy. This is a long day, guys. The premier partner of Rillaboom has to be Hawlucha, and that's because it gets Unburden, and with Grassy Seed, Unburden gives it 2 times as much speed, and also Grassy Seed gives it +1 defense, while powering up Acrobatics 2 times, so it's going to be doing the itemless damage. And that makes for a great core, especially because Rillaboom's able to take advantage of things like Body Press Corviknight, and potentially Foul Player Knockoff Mandibuzz, and things like Ferrothorn as well. Whereas Bulky Waters, that might struggle against Rillaboom, are going to do well against Hawlucha, so they complement each other quite nicely. In addition, also, things like Urshifu do really well as they both kind of break things down for each other. In my eyes, I think that's a really great offensive core, Life Orb Urshifu plus Choice Band Rillaboom personally. In addition to that, another thing that Rillaboom really appreciates is trapping, as you're able to remove things like Corviknight and Skarmory from the game, which means that only really counters that aren't like trapped are things like Amoonguss and Tangrowth, and even potentially Ferrothorn. And honestly, I find cores like that to be super restrictive in the game, and honestly, borderline unhealthy at some points. And I find teams with Rillaboom plus Magnezone to be really good, but unfortunately, they are forced to have some defensive holes, so you can run into some trouble there. In addition, Pokemon like Zeraora, Crawdon really complemented offensively as well. For instance, Zeraora is able to feast on the flying types like Skarmory, Corviknight, and Mandibuzz with its electric packs, especially Special Zeraora, whereas Crawdon is able to just break through any wall that could potentially come in. The only thing really having mutual good match against both is going to be Tangrowth, but you can easily chip down Tangrowth. So yeah, with that said, I think that makes for a great kind of core. And on top of that, Volcarona is a great Pokemon for it as well, as it just sets up on the steel flying Pokemon like Skarmory and Corviknight, as long as they like Brave Bird, or it just can kill them with fire as well. And Rillaboom also feasts on Blissey and potentially Toxics if it's Choice Band, which can potentially be answers to Volcarona. However, Volcarona needs to turn Psychic with its core usually, because otherwise both of them are walled by Como. So that is worth noting, but I think that there's some really potent partners in crime to Rillaboom that you'll encounter in the SSOE metagame that make team building with it not only really fun, but also wide open. It's not restrictive whatsoever, unless you pick a partner with it that's kind of restrictive. And because of that, I find Rillaboom to be a really splashable or usable in many different contexts Pokemon. And that's what I love about using Rillaboom, and that's why I think it's a super practical option. There also are some walls that it's able to break, but there are also some walls that it's not able to break. So let's go through the walls that are completely broken down by Rillaboom, and then the ones that maybe can keep it in check. First and foremost, the walls that it can break. Hippowdon, Blissey, Clefable, Slowbro, Tyranitar, Gastrodon. Yup, 4 of these Pokemon have a weakness to grass. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Blissey, however, is a special behemoth, but Woodhammer is destroying it. Superpower is destroying it. Yes, Woodhammer basically forces like trading 2/3 of your health because of recoil. I understand, but still, being able to take advantage of it and pairing it with special Pokemon like, as we mentioned, Volcarona, can definitely go a long way. As for Clefable, it's not going to be able to kill you unless it's Life Orb boosted, and you could kill it with a Woodhammer from Choice Band potentially, especially if there's some chip, whereas otherwise you could use Swords Dance and then potentially kill it there. Whisper's Protect Clefable against Choice Band Rillaboom actually is annoying, so you could like scout out what you're doing and force turns to end, but while gaining Grassy recovery. But all in all, you should be able to win the 1v1 more often than not, and that goes a long way. Of course, grass moves will do win Hippowdon, Slowbro, Tyranitar, which is increasingly common, and last but not least, 4 times a week Gastrodon, which just makes it pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to belabor the point there. However, unfortunately, there are some walls to Rillaboom which makes everyone's favorite Grass Monkey just a tad less effective. However, there are ways around it. Skarmory and Corviknight, for example, if you pair it with Magnezone, are able to be trapped. Admittedly, they can run Shed Shell, and also, the fact of the matter is that these Pokemon still do easily handle it 1v1 in that situation if it ever evolves to that. So, they are considered good checks or potentially counters if it's not Swords Dance plus Superpower, and they don't have Brave Bird. But of course, there are ways around it. As for Weezing does really well against it if it lacks Stomping Tantrum, but there are many ways to take advantage of Weezing in the metagame. There's a reason why it's more of a UU Pokemon than an OU Pokemon, so definitely look forward to doing that when you're team building with Rillaboom. Lastly, there's also the grass types and Mandibuzz. As for the grass types, U-turn and then, pretty much any fire type complements really nicely. Things like Rotom Heat, Volcarona, as we mentioned, even Chandelure can do quite nicely, but also flying types like Hawlucha do the trick as well, and that's, as we mentioned, was a great partner. Unfortunately, Weezing is a great counter to Rillaboom plus Hawlucha, but that's alright. And last, but most definitely not least, we also have Mandibuzz with Foul Play. Should be able to handle Rillaboom pretty easily, but at the same time, a +2 Superpower or +2 Drain Punch can potentially Tokyo it, and that could go a long way, especially after some chip, especially if you get a knockoff off and then take Stealth Rock damage next time, etc. But also a U-turn into something else, basically kind of like the Cinderace effect, pairing U-turn with something with so much breaking power and anti-offensive energy, be it through priority or speed, goes a long way. And Rillaboom really demonstrates that quite nicely. So all in all, I find Rillaboom to be one of the better Pokemon, and I love its rise to prominence over the last month or so. And I'm really curious to see what you guys have to think of it. I know this is a bit more of a dinky metagame Monday, but I definitely wanted to get both these videos out today, as they are both heavily requested in my Discord server. And I think I owe it to you guys a little bit to be a bit more consistent. As I said, I'd upload every day, and I didn't get much up over the weekend, so my bad for that. Let's push towards 5,000 subscribers, guys. And if you're looking to get better at the game, definitely check out Jamved's book. Again, the link will be in the description below. I couldn't really recommend anything beyond that, just because that's the best of the best when it comes to these type of resources. Of course, I'll make my videos, and I'm always around to help you guys. If you ever need to message me, feel free to. But that book, it helped me, and I've been playing this game for 9 years. I mean, I don't know what else I could say beyond that. It's a really great resource, and I would certainly advise checking it out if you are fortunate enough to be able to afford it and you're interested. Regardless though, if you guys enjoyed this content and you enjoyed the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're getting close to 5,000, so yeah, and have a great day. Alright guys, this is a video on Rillaboom and SSU. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.